In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
Nutritional Therapy Association. The NTA trains and certifies nutritional therapy practitioners
like me
and consultants by focusing on bioindividuality.
One size diet doesn't fit all.
And the range of dietary strategies that support wellness.
Being healthy overall, y'all.
The NTA emphasizes a whole food,
vegetables from our front yard and backyard gardens,
properly prepared,
like fermented and sprouted,
and nutrient-dense diet,
like grass-fed butter and grass-fed beef,
as the key to restoring balance and enhancing the body's innate ability to heal. Throughout their programs, students learn a wide range of educational tools and techniques to identify and correct nutritional imbalances and deficiencies in their clients, and they launch a successful career in holistic nutrition.
And they might become best-selling authors and podcasters too.
The NTA produces like-minded practitioners and consultants that we consider the leaders in health and wellness.
Oh yeah.
Registration is now open for May classes, and you can learn more and save your seat by going to nutritionaltherapy.com.
Go sign up.
And don't forget to mention Jimmy and Christine Moore on your application. What's that website again, Christine?
Nutritionaltherapy.com.
Go sign up, y'all. You hear?
Oh yeah.
You're so silly. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website, and if you'd like to engage live in the content, you gotta go follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live in the content. So thank you guys for being here today on Jimmy Rants. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, it does disappear. Be sure to go check out all the past episodes over on YouTube. If you type in a keyword search Jimmy Rants, you will find the show there. And lots of episodes for you to catch up on if you're brand new to the show. Finally, the best of the best moments of this here show are in podcast form. It's the Jimmy Rants podcast over on Apple Podcasts as well as Stitcher. All of these links, you guys, are at JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants, I'm going to go a little deep because I want you to think. And I want to kind of pick your brain a little bit as well about this whole topic of perfectionism, idealism, and demanding that the people that are in some form of leadership position, and because I'm in the keto world, that's what we'll talk about here today. Do we put some kind of an unrealistic expectation on those people that we see as leaders? And I see my friend Keto Coach Lauren is here. And Lauren, you're one of these people I'm talking about. Should we be putting unnecessary pressure on all of these people that are in leadership positions in the keto community? Should we be putting them up on a pedestal and then making demands that they look and be a certain way? And this is on my heart, you guys, because, and I've talked about this before, I know that there are certain groups out there that say things about me personally because of the weight that's still on my body. I know I was not invited to speak at a few of the conferences because of that as well. And I think it's a sad kind of commentary of where we are in the world now. And I get it. When you talk about diet and health and you kind of quote, don't look the part, I think you lead people down a very dangerous path. And I'm going to be real with you guys here today, because when I first started blogging, I thought in my mind I had to look perfect. I thought in my mind, okay, if I'm going to pretend like I am a weight loss blogger, a health blogger, I have to do anything and everything in order to lose the weight. And guys, can I tell you from the position of someone who's in a leadership role like this, can I tell you how incredibly frustrating that can be for people who get to that point where they feel like they're so desperate to do anything to, quote, look the part, that they will do things to the extreme. And I know certain people that they have been shamed so much that they have decided to basically starve themselves. They've decided to take things to just an unnatural, unnormal level simply to get the look that they desire. Now, does putting in hard work, does taking active steps that is a lot of hard work to do, is that a bad thing? No, it's not. It's actually what you should be doing. But I don't think we need to let this imagery dictate to us how we live our lives. And I have had it said to me in no uncertain terms, well, you just need to stop doing this and stop doing that, and you fill in the blank. And I'm going, you assume you know me. You assume you kind of know what I do in the day-to-day. But if you did know me, you would know everything you're saying is asinine. So I don't feel that pressure, by the way. I don't really give a crap what you think about me, good or bad. I mean, I appreciate the people that think good about me. But if you say some really ugly stuff, you're just talking to the wall, because I don't care. But that said, a lot of people do. And a lot of people hear all that noise out there, and it's just daily and it's constant. And perhaps you've had a great weight loss success story. Perhaps you've been able to turn things around in your habits and in your health. Then what? How do you keep that going? What do you think in your mind you have to do to keep all of that going? And a lot of people, they start engaging with an audience of people, and they have the people that follow them, and those people continue to look up to you, as they should, and look to you to be that ideal that they're looking for. And I think if you're an influencer and you're someone that's out there, you don't need to be telling people, hey, do what I did and look at me. Although I know that's kind of the way things go. Well, let me post this picture of my abs and I'll show you how you can get six-pack abs. And I think we forget that not everybody's going to be able to have six-pack abs. I think we forget that where we are in our journey is far different than where other people are in their journey. And I know I'm going a little bit all over the place here today, but I'm trying to make this point. And if you're just joining us, I'm asking this question: should we be demanding this whole idea of perfectionism and idealism from the people who are the leaders in the keto community? And I can tell you, I talk to a lot of the various people who are leaders in the community, and this pressure is real. The pressure to, well, oh my gosh, I hope none of us have a heart attack, because then somebody will blame that on the ketogenic diet, and they'll try to vilify keto because of that. And I get some ugly, nasty grams along those lines quite a bit. Oh, you're going to keel over of a heart attack any day now. And I'm like, really? How does that help anybody? And then the whole idea of you gain a little bit of weight. Oh no, people are going to point fingers, see how bad you are. You must be sneaking donuts. And I think this is where we are in this conversation. This is why you hear me shift the focus away from weight. Not that it's not important, but that it's not the major thing we should be concerning ourselves with. What I think we should be concerning ourselves with is incredible health effects that come when you lower carbs and eat more fat. That's it. And getting your body into the healthiest state possible. And it's going to vary from person to person. I try to articulate that as well. But from a leadership perspective, I don't think we should be demanding that there should be this perfect look for people. I get it. We live visually. We like to see, okay, you're making claims that this keto thing is going to change my life. How am I going to see it? And of course, the most visible way you see it is how someone looks on the outside. And I don't think that always tells the whole story. Someone could look thin on the outside and be a total wreck on the inside, and someone could have extra weight on the outside and have incredible things happening on the inside. And so I think as a community, we kind of need to shift our thinking away from this whole idea of looking the part to living the part, to being the part. And I think sometimes in the day-to-day-ism, we forget about that. We forget about there being more important things that are involved in this conversation beyond how someone looks. I told you we were going to get a little deep here today on Jimmy Rants. But I don't think we need to be demanding perfection or idealism, because let's face it, even the person that you think is the most ideal, they still struggle with head stuff. Even the person that you think has it all together in the keto world, think about that person or those people. Think about them. You know who's coming to mind. They ain't got their shiz together either. They don't. There's still stuff going on. There's still daily struggles that they deal with. There's still body image issues in their head that they can't overcome either. And see, to me, you guys, I wish people would be more open, honest, and vulnerable. Could you imagine if some of your favorite leaders in the ketogenic community just spoke bluntly, openly, honestly? Guys, I try to do that pretty often here on Jimmy Rants. As you know, I'm pretty much an open book. I don't try to hide or conceal anything. I've been at this gig for far too long to try to play games with you. I just tell it to you straight. And if there's a struggle, I'm telling you about it. If there's a concern, I'm telling you about it. If there's good stuff, I'm telling you about that too. But it's not always a rosy picture. And it's not always healthy for us to expect perfectionism and idealism when it comes to the people that are the leaders in this community. Is this resonating at all? Are you hearing what I'm saying here? And we all do it kind of subconsciously. It's almost this cultural norm now. Well, if someone's going to talk about keto, all right, they have to be automatically thin. If they're a guy, they need to have six-pack abs. If they're a woman, they need to look nice and have a big butt. And you know what I'm saying? You know you think those things, and it's kind of this subconscious undercurrent that is right there in the back of our minds. Okay, if we're going to talk about this and talk about being healthy and fit, and then we don't, quote, look that way, people might judge. People might accuse keto of failing. And again, I've heard this again and again. Well, the reason keto doesn't work, just look at Jimmy Moore. I see those comments on Twitter all the time. I'm like, yeah, what about Jimmy Moore? You mean my triglycerides that are under 100? Spectacular? You're welcome. Yes, keto works. You mean HDL that's over 50? Yes, again, you're welcome. Keto works. You mean my low inflammation markers like HSCRP? Yes, again, you're welcome. Keto works. You mean the CT heart scan that I had that showed I have 0 as a heart calcium score that indicates pretty good heart health despite the weight, despite having higher cholesterol? Yes, keto works. And if I don't fit someone's ideal, if I don't fit someone's perfection, and it's not just me, if anybody that you see as a leader in the keto world doesn't fit your little box of what perfect should be, then that ain't their problem. That's your problem. You got to let it go. You do. Because at the end of the day, everybody's living their life. Everybody is doing what they need to do to be healthy, that are leaders. Think about it this way. What motivation would someone like me have to not live the keto life and live it to the fullest, and to try to get all of those benefits that come from eating this way? What would be the motivation to talk about it but then not live it? There's no motivation. In fact, having the extra weight on the body is a detriment for some people to be able to hear the message. I don't care about that, by the way, because I think I'm more indicative of a certain segment of the population who still has weight struggle despite eating keto. I think I speak to that group of people, and I speak very openly for them. It's why I've not backed down. It's why I continue to come on Jimmy Rants on video all the time. It's why I very boldly speak and have been asked to speak at various conferences to talk about these things. And I don't think we should have any shame whatsoever. This is what drives good people away from wanting to speak out in the keto world, and really anything for that matter. But in the keto space, there is this stigma, so to speak, of judgment from certain groups and certain people that, well, if you don't have a naturally thin body and you don't have six-pack abs and you're not blah, 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 then you aren't allowed to speak. And I think that's wrong. I think you just drive people to an eating disorder. You drive people to do things very extreme that would cause harm to their body. Now, I'm not saying we don't need to push each other to try to strive to be the best health and weight that we can possibly be. And I've got people in my life that do articulate that to me as an encouragement. But a lot of times it comes off as judgment. A lot of times it comes off as accusatory and finger pointing. And I think that's the part of this whole conversation that needs to come to an end. That's the part that's not really helping anybody. And so should we be demanding perfection and idealism from our keto leaders? I don't think so. I don't think those are the right ways to do it. I think what we should be doing is encouraging, informing, and uplifting those people that you think are doing good things in the community, no matter what they look like, no matter what your prejudice is about how they look and about what you think is going on with them. Encourage those people, give them a kind word, share the message if they're saying something that makes sense, and then continue to just be that light for them. Because, guys, I've got a lot of darkness that's thrown my way, but I got a lot of light, and you guys are a part of that. You guys kind of come into my life on a daily basis, and you give me a chance to articulate ideas, and then you shine a light back to me every time you say, wow, that really spoke to me today. And to me, that's what keeps me going. And that's what encourages me to continue to pursue all of those things that can make an impact on my weight and health. And as you know, I'm about to take a 6-month sabbatical coming up in September, where I ain't going to be anywhere online. I'm not going to really be exposed to anything. And what am I going to do in those 6 months? I'm going to work on me. I'm going to do all kinds of things to de-stress. I'm going to do all kinds of things, probably experiment with a few different things nutritionally, fasting. So many things are being planned to try to deal with some of the things that I've had to deal with in recent years. And I think we need to encourage people that are still engaged. That's the other thing. If someone is engaged in trying to better themselves, what's with the criticism? You know, and again, I can only speak from my personal experience, but I know this happens quite a bit to a lot of people in this space. Oh my gosh, you need to do this, you need to stop doing that, you're promoting this. And it just becomes this constant stress ball that's just thrown in your face on a daily basis. And that drives people to do extremes. It does one of two things. It drives people to do extremes to get their weight down, to get their health, blah, 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 or it drives them away. Do we want people that we love and admire and respect to just disappear? I don't think so. So you got to encourage those people. You got to uplift them, and you got to be there for them. And again, if you just joined us, you're part of why I stick around. You're part of why I don't think that the vast majority of the population in keto is judgmental and has this idea of perfectionism and idealism, because I see it from you on a daily basis, just the opposite. And so I'm here for you guys to provide encouragement, education, and inspiration. And then you're there for me as a reciprocal, with your love and your kindness and respect and compassion. And it's the way it should work. I don't think we need to be so judgy, because that really doesn't help anybody at all. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Lauren says, I like this topic. Yeah, I knew this would be right up your alley. Lauren does say, it's definitely something I feel is expected of others, but I don't feel it should be that way. No, it should not. I think if you take on a leadership position because you start having followers that pay attention to what you're saying and you build some modicum of success in following, I think what your followers demand of you is pretty much irrelevant, because at the end of the day, you know what you're doing. You have to make the changes and put in the work that gives you the benefits that you're looking for. And if people say, well, you're not doing the benefits fast enough, screw them. It's not, that's not on you. That's on them. My timetable for getting things to get to where they need to be isn't yours. And I'm going to continue to do those things. And also, I'm going to remind people that sometimes for some people, it takes longer than others. I think we forget about that. We just look at life as this cookie cutter of you do this, then this. And it takes away the bioindividuality. It takes away the fact that some people come into keto with a far different metabolism than you did. Some people are able to come into keto, boom, immediately get benefit, weight pours off their body, all their health markers get into line, and everything's peachy keen. Other people start keto, and this is who I speak for. And while they may lose a little bit of weight to begin with, then they have struggle where it stalls out. They have struggle where it might even start gaining back. They may not be able to get their triglycerides down right away. Sometimes it takes time. And I think loving kindness, support, encouragement through that process for those people is far more beneficial than all the judgment in the world that they should have been at X point by now. What good does that do? From a psychological standpoint, does that encourage or discourage someone? You know the answer. Lavender says, look at you getting into the rabbit hole of deepness. All leaders are still human. They mess up, and honestly, those times should help their followers learn from leaders and failures. Thank you, Lavender. I think expressing comments about your humanness makes you more relatable. I think that's why a lot of you guys stick around, is I'm articulating things that, quite frankly, many in the low-carb keto community will never talk about. I don't care, by the way. I just talk. And I've always been that way. I've always been very open, vulnerable by design, because I think it does help people. If I can talk to you and you're one of those people who still struggles getting weight off your body, maybe you've gained some weight despite eating keto, maybe you think there's something wrong with you and, oh my gosh, I need somebody to relate to, I'm your guy, because I'm going to be there to say, hey, look, I'm dealing with the same issues. But what if I hid behind the microphone? So most people know my voice from my podcast. Hey guys, we're back here on the Living La Vida Low Carb Show with Jimmy Moore. And I could easily just let my voice do the talking, continue to do my work, and hide. You guys know me well enough that I don't hide. And I purposely don't hide. I'm about to get on a boat this weekend for the low carb cruise. And I'm the leader of the low carb cruise. I MC the whole event. And I'm not hiding. What you see is what you get. And I don't try to apologize for how I look. I don't try to force anything in my life simply because others have expectations for me that I'm not fulfilling. Look, I'm not living Jimmy Moore's life to make you happy. I'm living my life to be as healthy and fit as I could possibly be. Yeah, I'm going to leave it right there. Don't really think there are failures, just learning opportunities. Yeah, I don't like that idea of failure. And I also don't assume that simply because someone's eating keto and they haven't quite lost all the weight, that they're doing things necessarily wrong in their diet. I've talked about this before. Someone could be eating the most perfect ketogenic diet, and yet if they have unresolved stress, which is my problem, I believe, you're not going to lose weight. If they have trouble sleeping, you're not going to lose weight. If they're taking medications, which could be contraindicative to weight, you're not going to lose weight. If you got hormone imbalances or adrenal fatigue and other things, you're not going to lose weight. And I think we conveniently forget about that. We think, oh, someone eats keto and bingo, bango, all the weight should pour off their body. And it doesn't work that way. And the sooner we learn the lesson that this isn't a linear thing of if you do X, then Y should happen. It doesn't work that way for everyone. Does it work that way for some? You bet it does. But it doesn't work that way for everyone. And we need to be respectful of those people. And even the people in the leadership position in keto, we need to be respectful of them by not demanding that they be perfect. Because newsflash, not a single person in the keto community, think of the most perfect in your mind, ideal person, they're not perfect. They're not. Hate to break it to you. You know that name. You're thinking of it right now. Nope, not that guy. Nope, she's not either. Nope. Lauren says perfection does not exist for anyone, so such expectations shouldn't be on those who are the leaders. We are human after all. We go through struggles no one sees ever, but this is why I try to be transparent. Lauren, it's why I love you, my dear. You are one of those people that does do this. It's why you and I have connected from day one. You're exactly the epitome of what I'm talking about here today, of what I wish happened with the leaders in keto, and you're definitely one of those in my eyes. Val says the other day, my hubby said the older he gets, the less he cares about what others think. Val, I am just like your husband, because I think it was when I turned 40, I stopped caring what people thought. And guys, for a long time, I carried that burden, a long time as a blogger and podcaster and going to conferences. I always thought, if I don't look good with my weight and the way I present myself, if I don't look good, then people are going to judge me. And I used to think that. Now you can look at me and say anything you want. I'm not going to go to some mad extreme, because I've even had some people make the claim, well, you're probably going to secretly get a gastric bypass so you can lose weight, so you can continue to tell people blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I would never. That's not desirable to me at all. And I don't want to do anything that would be like that kind of extremism. Who gets helped from doing that? Your image of me? Maybe. Does that really help anybody? Nope. I think I'm far more effective articulating ideas in the state that I'm in and then telling you how I get out of this than I ever would trying to take a shortcut. I hope when I'm gone for 6 months starting in September, I can come back on here March the 1st, 2020 and be down in weight. And come back to you and say, okay, guys, This is what I've learned. That's kind of the hope, but I have no idea what's going to happen. We'll have to wait and see. Ashton says, we have come to think of appearance as all important, not taking into account that we are human beings. We as human beings are not perfect, accept people for what they are on the inside and not what they look like. I want people to judge me on my character. Do you think I have high integrity? Do you think I'm, in general, a good guy? That I live my life in a certain way that you find desirable? I think that's far more important than me having six-pack abs. There's some really ugly people that have six-pack abs. There are some very conceited people that have muscles coming out their muscles. Just because you have that look doesn't mean you're a good person. And to me, the content of your character is far more appealing and desirable than all the muscles and all the weight loss in the world. That's just my opinion. Lady Lixel, it's so refreshing to have leaders show their vulnerability within this lifestyle, as it shows we all need support. Thank you for all you do, and thanks to the others who are real. Thank you, Lady Lixel. And I will tell you, sometimes when you're a leader in the community, you don't feel like you have anyone you can go to talk to ask for help, to get encouragement and to bounce ideas off. Now, thankfully, I do have people in my life like Lauren that she calls me, I call her, and we are able to encourage each other. And she's but one of many, and I know Lauren probably has many that she has on her contact list. And that's the way it should be. But guys, it can be lonely sometimes because of this whole concept of what we're talking about here today, of this idea of having to look the part and be perfect and have that ideal. And if you're anything less than, then people will judge you. If you're anything less than, then you're not invited to speak at various conferences. If you're anything less than, then somehow your work is invalidated simply because of this expectation that people have of you. Ashton says, when leaders aren't perfect, it just shows they struggle with life, just like we all do, and we need to understand that life happens to them too. Yes, life does happen. And see, here's the thing. If I never showed you life, and other keto leaders, if they never showed you what happened in real life, how is that helping you? What if all you saw was the Pollyanna-ish idealism that so many people tend to strive for and portray in their social media? What if that's all you ever saw from these people? Would you feel encouraged? Would you feel like, okay, they're speaking to me? Some of the most influential people that I pay attention to are the ones that are sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, there are people who overshare, and you know who you are. But most people that are vulnerable, it's attractive. You want to hear what those people have to say, because in them sharing, you kind of put down this whole idea of, oh my gosh, they have everything put together, and you realize, wow, they're just like me. They still deal with struggles. They still have head stuff going on. And Lauren is really good at that. So thank you for that, Lauren. You have so many connective points, so to speak, with those people when they speak in that way. And again, I wish more people did that. Kitty Caddick, unfortunately, the truth is that public figures will be under one or the other type of pressure. Always, Kat. And I've acknowledged that for a little while, that I realize it comes with the territory of being someone famous online. But I'll tell you a funny story. Yesterday, before we were leaving, we're on our way to the low-carb cruise, leaving out of New Jersey port, so we're in a hotel here in Virginia. Before we left, it was like an hour before we were leaving, this lady knocks on my door, and she's like, "Are you Jimmy Moore?" I went, "Uh-oh." Yes. And she said, "Oh, I read Keto Clarity. It totally changed my life. And I heard you lived in this area, and I wanted to come by and thank you personally. She did tree service for a living. She said, I know you don't have any trees in your yard. I was going to, help you trim your trees and as a thank you. And she was just so warm and welcoming and grateful. And she saw what I look like. How easy would it have been for her to say, oh my gosh, I didn't realize you look like that. Okay, all those good things that you've done in the world that I thought that you had done for me. Oh, it's all negated because. No, that didn't happen. She was almost in tears because of her gratefulness and gratitude and love for what my work had done for her. And that's the way it should be. I think the less judgment that we make, the more compassion, kindness, and love that we share to other people, even people that we hold in high regard but aren't perfect. That's the way it should be. Can I just encourage you, I'm going to take this moment, find those people that are in this community that have meant the most to you. And even if it's somebody who doesn't have that perfect look and perfect whatever, the idealism that you might think they should, go to them and thank them for their work. Go to them and be that cool cup of water on a hot summer's day, because you just never know. You might be the encouragement that they need to hear today to keep going one more day. You might be the encouragement that has them step out. Maybe you're the impetus for helping them get on the path to finding that way to lose those few pounds on the body that they've been trying to do. Maybe your encouragement and uplifting words will relax some of that stress that they have in their life, so they could then be able to let go of some of the health and weight stuff that might still be ongoing despite eating keto. Can you do that today? You know who those people are in your life. Write to them. Don't say you're going to do it in your head and then never do it. Write to them. Send them a DM. Send them an email. I think you would make their day. Good morning, Olga. Yes, this is early. I'm traveling right now, so Christine is still asleep in the hotel room. I've been up since 4 a.m. That's pretty much my modus operandi. Actually, before 4 a.m. I want to say it was 3:30 when I was wide awake. But some days my brain is just on fire, and today I had this one on my heart. I just had to get it out super duper early. So for all my friends that aren't up yet and you're watching this on replay, thank you for rewatching it. But yes, I did this very early East Coast time. Kat says, why not keep the mouth shut if there is nothing nice to say? Yeah, although I don't mind people sharing concern, but sometimes concern comes across as ugly judgment. So you're probably, at the end of the day, Kitty Caddick, you're probably spot on. Ashton says, as a woman in her 60s, I feel being the best me I can be is my perfection. Yeah. And we have to remind people of that as well. If I was still in my teens and 20s, maybe it wouldn't be as difficult as it is now in my late 40s. And I'm not complaining whatsoever. Because again, I would probably not be here had I not gone keto. I would probably be dead. And I would be of no use to anyone dead. But at least now I have skin in the game, literal skin in the game, by being able to be here on a daily basis with you guys. Lavender says, I've been following you off and on for quite a few years, and more so recently. I'm curious, is there any specific physical reason for the weight, or are you unsure? You're healthier than most. That's huge. I honestly believe, Lavender, for me personally, it's the stress component. And most of you don't have any idea. I know I try to articulate at least parts of it, but you have no idea the amount of, not pressure, but just the amount of stress of doing all the things that I do. And I'm not complaining one bit. I have been incredibly blessed in my life to be able to write books that people actually want to read, to be able to do podcasts that people want to listen to. I do this daily show on Instagram Live, and I love every minute of what I get to do, but some of the baggage that comes along with all of that work. If it was just merely the work itself, it wouldn't be so bad. But it's all the junk that I have to deal with in the midst of doing that work. And people don't realize that. You don't realize the cumulative effect of all of that constant barrage of negativity. Now, I get a lot of love too from a lot of you guys, but I get a whole lot of hate. And a lot of it stems from because I still have weight on the body. But here's the thing. I could lose 75 pounds, just making up an arbitrary number. I could lose 75 pounds and there would be somebody that says, well, you talk too much. There would be somebody that says, well, you got a zit on your nose that's distracting when you do videos. There will always be something that someone's going to complain about is not perfect, is not ideal. There's always going to be something. And so because of that, I think you need to learn, and I'm talking about myself, I need to learn how in the day-to-day you manage that stress, which is part of what the 6 months off is hopefully going to be the remedy for. And so if I'm able to figure out in the day-to-day-ism of it all how to manage that well, then mission accomplished with this 6 month sabbatical. But more than anything, the 6 month sabbatical will let me step away and go, okay, I've been at this for 15 years. It's time for a breather. And I'm going to take a big, deep breath. I'm going to enjoy every minute of it. I will miss you guys, but at the end of the day, I got to do this for me. And I got to see this out and see if it makes any impact at all. Because quite frankly, if I come back from that and nothing has changed, then there's something deeper going on. But I think this will be part of the answer. We'll see. Your value system is what attracts people, and that goes further than looks. Thank you, Lavender. Appreciate that. Jay and Bickford, sorry, but where are you going for 6 months? I'm going away. I just won't be here. I am taking a complete sabbatical. I'm deleting Instagram, Facebook, everything off of my phone. I'm not checking emails. I'm not writing books. I'm not doing podcasts. I'm going on a real sabbatical. And everybody's like, where are you going? I'm like, I don't have to go anywhere to be on sabbatical. We'll probably do a little bit of travel, but quite frankly, travel is stress. So I'm not going necessarily anywhere. We're just going to be. And I think sometimes just being and the calmness of all of that is so valuable to our health. I'm going to see how valuable it is. I will tell you this, both Christine and I are extraordinarily looking forward to this time away. Not that we won't miss you guys, we will. But we both need this from a sanity standpoint. Again, behind the scenes, you have no idea some of the ugliness we've had to deal with. And it's taken a toll, and it adds up. And this is another reason we should not be demanding perfectionism and idealism of our keto leaders. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know how all the cumulativeness of being online and being in a leadership position, all that comes with that. It's more than you'll probably ever know unless you get to that point where you're one of us too. Amy says it's important to be real, always. Always, always, always. Stress is such a huge factor in weight, says Lavender. For sure, are there any adaptogen herbs that are okay on keto like ashwagandha? Yeah, I did a whole adaptogen podcast with my Keto Talk co-host, Dr. Will Cole. Go check it out. It was recent. Just go on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. You'll find the Keto Talk episode where we talked about adaptogens. Self-love routines and learning how to release stress is huge. I'm grateful as a man you're taking this self-love journey. I'm a big believer in self-love, Lavender, and I think I don't not love myself, but I think being away and taking this time for me is going to be good for everybody. Because if I can show, hey, look, I know not everybody can take 6 months off. I'm not taking that for granted, by the way. But going away and then coming back, hopefully somewhat of a new man, and revived and refreshed and de-stressed, then it's learning how to do that in the day-to-day so it doesn't all accumulate up again. Val says, I think that sabbatical will do you and Christine a lot of good. Yeah, we're excited about it. Bing Xing says, it sounds like a mental cleanse. Yeah. What's been really fascinating is I've slowed down the typical work schedule in May, June. So in May so far. And you guys have been the benefactors of some of that, because in the downtime, the brain doesn't stop working. This is the thing, you guys. My brain is always at work thinking of ideas. And so when I'm not in the day-to-day-ism of doing my podcasts and such, the brain's still going. So it starts going into area like this topic here today was a direct result of I'm not thinking about who am I going to interview on the Living La Vida Low Carb show next. It's thinking about everything else. And so some of that subconscious stuff's going to come out. And I think I talked about this before, but even when I'm gone, I'm probably going to go on video when the spirit moves, so to speak, and talk, not publicly to put it out there, but just to put it on video. And then maybe when I come back, I share some of those videos, because I do think there will be things that will come out during this sabbatical that I'm not currently thinking about at all. Unplug and relax, says Wycath. Yes. Yes. Ashton says we shouldn't put such unrealistic high expectations on the leaders, puts them in the position of feeling forced to raise the bar higher than they should have to. And I know really, really good people who could be powerful voices for the message of keto, who don't go online, who don't engage, who aren't a part of this community because of that expectation. And to me, that's sad, because the moment we ostracize people and judge people to the point that they don't even feel comfortable being online, that's too far, you guys. That's way, way too far. And it's a crying shame, because I think there are great people who have a lot to say. I have a lot to say, and I put it out in many different ways, but I've also gotten to the point, because I've done this for so long, 15 years now I've been doing this, I've gotten to the point where I am beyond caring what people think anymore. But there's people that have been at this, maybe they lost weight 3, 4, 5 years ago on a ketogenic diet, and now they're trying to kind of dip their toe in the water and maybe make something of this. They're afraid to put themselves out there because of all the ugliness that is the online world. Lavender says you'd be interesting to put in a deprivation tank. So much subconscious thought. Yeah, I want one of those float tanks. Trust me, I'm looking into that already. My husband's brain is always turning too. He will just start talking about something out of the blue. What's funny, Val, I'm the same way. Christine, it drives her crazy. But what's funny is we were in Black Mountain, North Carolina, where we have a mountain place now. And we were at this festival on Saturday. And this lady had a book about Alzheimer's. It was like an adult coloring book. And so we started just talking. I said, hey, I'm an author. Can I help you with the book? So I gave her a few suggestions. And I said, yeah. And I wrote this book about fasting with this medical doctor, Jason Fung. And she said, no way. The Complete Guide to Fasting. I said, yeah. Oh, you've read it. She said, you're the author of that book? So it was just kind of funny. But it's just amazing, when you kind of have your brain constantly working, you want to help others around you. And sometimes it helps. Maybe your husband's suggestions don't always help, but he gets it out because his brain doesn't stop working. Brio Play says, wow, you're speaking to my heart right now. Perfection has been keeping me from being more vocal for sure. Oh, Bree, please don't let that get in the way of you making a powerful influence in the lives of the people around you. How many people are stymied because of their fear of judgment? I know a bunch. And that's just in my sphere of influence of people I know. I know a bunch that they are fearful to even dare talk about anything until they're perfect. I've had people tell me that I can't start podcasting, I can't start blogging, I can't start being active on social media till I get everything together. And I always ask them, when's that going to happen? When's that going to happen? It's kind of like people who refuse to accept Jesus in their life until they get their act together. And what they don't realize is Jesus will help them clean up their act. So get saved and then you figure it out. So what I tell people as the analogy to that is start sharing and you'll figure it out. Start sharing and you'll get through this life. And you'll be able to encourage people in the process. Start sharing now. And by doing that, you will be the encouragement to someone else, but then people will encourage you in the process and you benefit at the end of the day. Jean says, I still have a lot of weight to lose and was so scared to share my journey online. I've decided to be brave and just started now. Jean, get it out there. And I know my friend Keto Karma, Suzanne Ryan, her entire journey was documented on YouTube. She did daily, maybe weekly videos, basically just openly sharing when she was still very obese. And you could see in the videos that she did, each video she'd be smaller and smaller and would talk about some of the head stuff that she was dealing with. You're going to help so many people, Jean. Be bold, be strong. You've got an encourager in Jimmy Moore. Please reach out to me if I can help you in any way. But I'm proud of you because that takes a lot of courage, what you're doing. Not everybody would want to share everything. But here's the thing. You're more indicative of the common person, Gene, than the most thin, fit, six-pack abs person online will ever be. This is why people were mad at Jillian Michaels. It's like you don't know what it's like to have to deal with obesity. You don't. You've never been obese in your life. You've been a fitness nerd your whole life, and yet now you want to poo-poo on keto because, oh, it's this and this and this. You don't know. That's why people didn't really have a lot of respect for her. Amy says, I feel the same way and took the plunge on YouTube. Keto Maniacs. Everybody go find Keto Maniacs on YouTube. That's awesome. My husband joined me. Great adventure. That's awesome, Amy. Well, keep up the great work. Don't be afraid to share. And the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants is, let's stop demanding perfection. Let's stop demanding that the people that are in leadership positions in keto be this ideal whatever. Because it ain't helping anybody. Ideal perfectionism doesn't help anybody. Being real is what helps people. And by being real, that includes warts and all. That includes the ups, the downs, the in-betweens, and the really, really bads. And the more of that is shared, the more we can actually change the lives of the people who need it the most. That's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, you can engage live in the content, but you got to go follow me over on Instagram Live. I'm at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVIN, Once you're there, you can engage live, just like all of these awesome people did here today. Thank you guys for being here. Gene says, thanks for these talks, Jimmy. You are helping so many. That's awesome. That's awesome. If you missed the live on Instagram, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, it does disappear. So then pop on over to YouTube. That's where we post all of the past episodes of Jimmy Rants. Just type in a keyword, Jimmy Rants. You will find the show. And then finally, the best of the best moments of this here show, it's in podcast form. It's the Jimmy Rants podcast on Apple Podcast and Stitcher. And you bet your sweet bippy, this one's going on the Jimmy Rants podcast because I need to get this message out sooner than later. Too many people dealing with nonsense out there. We need to get this message out. So please share, you guys. All of these links are at jimmyrants.com. So until next time, we'll see you then.